So the challenge of recession is no longer news. The inherent benefit has also been in the limelight. However, the major task now is to get the country back to the path of progression. And the federal government has embraced the economic strategy of spending to get out of recession.
We are raising money. As you know, the Eurobond capital raise is on. We're about to appoint our advisors, so we'll be raising an additional $1 billion. 2 weeks ago, we approved the external borrowing plan. That was very important because if you remember when we said we would borrow the cheapest money first. We have approvals in that plan from the World Bank, from ADB, from GCA, with interest rates as low as 1.5% and tenures as long as 40 years to intervene in some specific areas, which include agriculture, education, health, rebuilding of the Northeast, and there are a lot of, and of course the railway projects that are very key to what we're doing.
As laudable as the steps taken by the federal government sounds, there's call for caution.
If you pump it in and it's not properly utilized, then there's a problem. If you pay the state's government, I mean, some states that are owing and they pay salaries, it will augment and it will help. But if it's paid and it's been diverted to something else, so the issue we're talking about is integrity, transparency. You must show them some level of integrity. And what is integrity? It is when you are doing the right thing and when nobody's watching you, nobody's there to look at you. Then you are a man of integrity. And you must be transparent with all these things we are doing. This funds comes in, we have this amount, and that's why I said states should start publishing their financials.
There's also the call from some prominent Nigerians to the federal government to sell assets to augment the foreign reserves. The step, according to them, has the potential to raise arguably about $15 billion, an amount which even some members of the Senate believe would make impact in the economy. However, not everyone believe that this would be a beneficial step as it seems on the face value.
If there are non-performing assets of government, usually, governments may have some established some companies in which it has holdings, shareholding, and it thinks that it's not contributing to the economy and it can realize money. There's nothing wrong in that. But not every government assets, not the NLNG, for example, which I don't see any reason why that should be sold off to anybody, either local or foreign person. So it's now good for government to explore what can we dispose of, no matter what. Those
not the NLNG.
NLNG is doing well, and government gets returns from the NLNG. So I don't see any reason why we should be in a hurry to get out of that, unless we're talking about selling off and having a clause that we can repurchase when things get better.
The step for a fast way out of recession has also birthed the change begins with me mantra in line with the change agenda of the ruling All Progressive Congress. This comes with a challenge from President Muhammadu Buhari.
We have decided to act pragmatically with the launch of the National Reorientation Campaign. The campaign will not be a sprint, but a marathon that will run the course of our tenure. We are under no illusion that the changes we seek will happen overnight. But we have no doubt that the campaign will help restore our value system and rekindle our nationalistic fervor. I am therefore appealing to all Nigerians to be part of this campaign. Our citizens must realize that the change they want to see begins with them, and that personal and social reforms are not a theoretic exercise. If you have not seen the change in you, you cannot see it in others, or even the larger society. In other words, before you ask, where is the change they promise us? You must first ask, how far have I changed my ways?
Since the introduction, Nigerians have been divided on who should lead the implementation of change.
I've been employing people in the last 40 years, and I know what I've gone through. Sometimes they make you cry. that how are you going to move forward if people are behaving like this? Go and set up a farm, a poultry farm. Just set it up. And you see what Nigerian workers will do to you. They will steal your egg. They will kill your chicken. They will even invite outsiders to go and buy, to come and buy egg and won't pay. So we need a moral regeneration. We need a total moral regeneration. And this is why I agree with the new concept of the government that the change starts with me.
Change should begin with the president. Change should begin with the government because they promised change. And there must be some blueprints they had when they were campaigning. And that blueprint says, when we come in, we are going to change A, B, C, D. We want to see those A, B, C, D that they said they told us before. And then we say, okay, you want to change A, B, C, D? Oh, you're welcome. Please come and change A, B, C, D. And our hopes were high. Now, when the government has come into power, and they tell that change begins with me, I now begin to wonder, what is it? Is it about attitude? Are we now talking about morality? Are we talking about a religion where people is now preaching, where people should begin to change? Or is it based on some religious injunction or anything? People begin to ask questions. But what we expect from the government is that you want to change the structure of power production in this country. We are waiting for you. We want to change the nature of our roads. We are waiting for it. We want to change the standard of living, that we're able to live well, like in other countries. We are waiting for you.
There are some who have attempted to stay in between.
Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? You need the chicken to lay the egg. You need the egg to hatch the chicken. So it has to be simultaneous. It has to be an end. And of course, the people who are leading have a role. They have a bigger role because they have special opportunity for controlling our destiny. For that issue, they must go beyond just rhetorics. They have to. It has to be something that is evolved. It has to be something encompassing. It has to be something, I must know there's a future. I must know there's a benefit for me if you want me to change.
With strategies like this in place, many have said that recession is on its way out of the country and a target of 18 months projected for recovery, influenced by the decision of the Monetary Policy Committee to retain all key indicators, that's the monetary policy rate at 14%, cash reserve ratio at 22.50%, and the liquid ratio at 30%. However, some economists have asked that the projections be broadened to capture reality.
The idea of first quarter or fourth quarter and all that is just based on perception or what the indicators are saying. We have perceptions. If there are fundamental problems that are not addressed, no matter how much you begin to calculate and do your projections, it's just it's wishful thinking. I'm an economist. We do projections. And then we know that sometimes it's just the thinking of the forecast, the forecaster. You're thinking, and then you have scenario building. You build scenarios. Because in forecasting, you build scenarios. If it is this way, this is how it will be. If it is this way, this is how. So you talk about scenario building. We just have only one scenario. Or by the fourth quarter, it will start coming out. What of other scenarios? What is so we need to talk about looking at various options. Some things must be done properly. Government must be able to spend in the right sectors. Clear up the backlog of those who are being owed, either pension, salaries, and so on. Clear them so that there will be money to spend in the economy. Make sure you get your policy framework right. Look at the exchange rate market. Make sure you bring back foreign investors. They've left the economy. They've left. So how do you bring them back? And they come back, and then money begins to, that affects your exchange rate. And then you now see the dollar falling, and you see people being able to behave. That also affects your inflation rate. So some things must be done. But so what we can do is to look at scenarios. Not just say by fourth quarter we're out, by that quarter. We need to be able to look at it more adequately. And then we can now begin to make pronouncement that given this condition, this is what will happen. Given the other condition, this is what will happen. But in terms of having that, those people may not have enough knowledge of economics or forecasting as it is done in this subject matter.